Sometimes I just don't agree. Hey guys, how is it all going? So, thank you so much for what is my Exorcist Believer movie review. And to get into a very quick plot synopsis of this movie, there's two young 13-year-old girls that go missing. Unfortunately, when they are found 3 days later, they have got a bad case of possession-itis that is not going to be cured easy or quickly. So, before I dive into my review with The Exorcist Believer, I just want to give you like a little history lesson between me and the Exorcist franchise. Now, I'm not a massive, big fan of the Exorcist franchise overall. Um, I will say the first movie is as close to a horror masterpiece as you will get. I adore the first movie. I love it. But it's not a movie I regularly watch. The first time I watched The Exorcist, I was 18 when it got re-released in the UK at the cinemas. And I remember watching it at the cinema and it was powerful. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's such an unsettling movie. And it still is to this day. And rightly so, was hailed one of the scariest and one of the best horror movies of all time. Most times it wins that. And I wouldn't argue that case at all. I think it deserves that. It really does deserve it. And like I say, I think it's close to a masterpiece. The Exorcist 2, moving on. We get to The Exorcist 3, which personally I love. And I've said this before. I prefer The Exorcist 3 over the first one. But when I say that, I don't mean The Exorcist is here and The Exorcist 3 is up here. They are both at the top of the horror mountain for me. When I say that, I mean like The Exorcist is here and The Exorcist 3 is just slightly just tipping over. That's what I mean when I say that. I've watched The Exorcist 3 more. I probably watch The Exorcist 3 at least a couple of times a year. I'm going to stick it on at some point this Halloween as well and give it another rewatch. I adore that movie. I actually love both versions of that movie. I love the theatrical version and I love Legion, the director's cut. Both of them I enjoy just as much as each other. I haven't seen the other Exorcist movies after that. I think one was it called like The Beginning or Dominion or something like that. I haven't seen them, but from what I've heard, don't bother. And I haven't checked out the TV series that there was at The Exorcist. Was it about maybe 5 years ago, something like that? I didn't even check that out. So I love the first movie and I love the third, but I would not say like I'm a massive like diehard of The Exorcist, you know, even though I do enjoy 1 and 3, like I've just mentioned. So I went into The Exorcist Believer kind of with tempered expectations, especially when I started seeing the reactions that were coming out just before its release. Man, to say this film was taken an absolute beating by critics would be a massive understatement. This thing was beaten into submission. It was like that little sketch in The Simpsons where the kid was like, stop, he's already dead. I mean, wow, this thing was taking a critical mauling. So, with seeing all of that, I kind of thought, right, just go into this movie, take out The Exorcist, The Exorcist 3, take them out your head because the chances are it will not hit that level at all. You know, just go in and just hope for a good time. You might enjoy the movie and let's just hope it entertains you. And also, I have said this before, I am a huge sucker for possession movies. I don't know why, I just am. Even some of the worst ones, I find some enjoyment in them. I don't know what it is, and I can openly admit that the movie is bad. I'll hold my hand up and say, yes, this possession movie is bad, but my God, did I enjoy some moments in this movie. I'm just a sucker for it. So, all that being said, I went into The Exorcist Believer And I will tell you what, surprisingly, I had a good time with this movie. I actually thought it was good. I feel like I am going to be one of the few reviews on YouTube to give this a slightly positive review. Now, there are problems and issues with this movie. There are. It's not perfect, not by a million years. Is it as good as the Exorcist 1, Exorcist 3? Absolutely nowhere near. But we all knew that anyway, because like I said, they are hard films to even match or get close to, because they're just close to masterpieces in my opinion. So, I will start off with my positives of this movie, and I will say the first hour of this movie is really good. Like, I was really sucked into it, and it's more of like a missing person's kind of movie to start with. But I was intrigued. I really was, and I thought the acting was really good by everybody. I liked our main lead, who's the father to one of the young girls. I don't know the actor's name, I'm sorry, and I haven't seen him in anything else before, I don't think. But I thought he did a solid job, and you follow the movie through his eyes, and he does extremely well, and you feel for him, especially when he has to make a decision at the beginning of this movie, not to get into any spoilers, but I felt for him, and my heart was like breaking for him. I was like, God, could you imagine? Could you imagine being put in that situation? I don't know what I would have done. I just wouldn't like to be in that, like to have to make that choice. But I thought the actor did a solid job in his role of the father of that girl. And I thought like all the side characters all did well. A lot of them were like a little bit underused, to be fair, because it more focuses on like more one girl and like one side of the family with the father than the other one. But I thought when everyone was on screen and they had a bit to do, I thought they were all solid and actually did a good job, to be fair. And speaking of the girls, I thought both of them were brilliant. I thought they did extremely well, especially when they came to like, you know, the possession scenes. And I thought they did a great job. And so hats off to them. They were effective and they were creepy. Like, I always find when, you know, when the kids get possessed and then it starts to like really kick off, just how creepy it can be, you know. And I dig it. I don't know why. I just dig it. I just love that shit. I don't get it. I don't get it myself. I've got problems, I know. But I thought the kids did a great job. And like I say, I thought for the first hour, this movie was pretty solid. Unfortunately, in the second half, it does start to take a bit of a nosedive. And it's pretty much when Ellen Burstyn gets introduced into the movie. Now, I am not saying it's because of her, because it isn't. Because I thought, for the short amount of time that we do have her in this movie, I thought she was brilliant. I really did. I think one of the problems with this movie, and I think a lot of Exorcist fans are probably going to think this way, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to speak for anybody. But this film very easily did not have to be an Exorcist movie. You could slap on another name to this and it really wouldn't matter at all. It doesn't really connect to the first one all that much, really. To be fair, like I say, it did not have to be The Exorcist. It really didn't. And also, when it came to like the exorcism bit, obviously during like the last act of this movie and stuff, it's everything you have seen before. It doesn't do anything kind of new or inventive or put you on the edge of your seat, because I wasn't really on the edge of my seat at all. It was kind of generic. Like I say, you've seen it a million times in a million possession movies before. And some of them have done it better, to be fair. I think it plays it really safe. And I don't blame David Gordon Green for doing that, because like I say, it's kind of similar to like kind of say The Force Awakens or like Halloween 2018. They're pretty much kind of remade from the original. And this one kind of feels that way as well. It's to play it safe, to try and get the fans on board, give them, what they're expecting and, what you'd think they would want, and then move forward from there. So I think it kind of plays it safe in that regard. And like I say, I've enjoyed exorcism scenes more in other possession movies, but it served its purpose. It did okay. And like I said, like overall, I thought the movie was good. Like I walked out of it and thought, do you know what? I think some of the things said about this are harsh. I really do. But I know I am going to be in the minority on this. I know. I really know. I know. So, to just wrap it up, guys, I think the movie has a very strong first half. I really do. But then it just starts to tail off near the end. But I was still entertained in certain moments in that second half. Like, there were still some creepy moments in there. I would not say this movie is scary, though. Like, it's not scary. It didn't make me want to, when I went home at night, to, like, leave all the lights on when I went to bed or anything like that. It didn't do anything like that to me. But I thought it was quite effective in what it tried to do. And especially the first half of this movie, I thought was really, like, I honestly was sat there going, I really don't know what the problem is. But then from the second half onwards, I kind of thought, I could see why they would pick this and that. I get it. But it didn't bother me overall. So I will give The Exorcist Believer. Oh God, I feel your eyes burning through the screen to me on this one. Oh, there's gonna be people that fucking hate this movie. Hate it. Oh. I am going to give The Exorcist Believer a 3.5 out of 5. Now I am going. I'm out of here. I've gave my opinion and now I'm gone. So guys, have you seen the movie? Did you actually agree with me? Do you think it was a good time? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was okay? Do you agree with me? Do you think the first half was stronger than the second half? Or do you prefer the second half over the first half? Whatever it is, guys, please leave a comment below. It is absolutely always a pleasure hearing from you. And as always, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now. And please be nice to me.